One day, and that day is coming, William Arthur Philip Louis will wake up as Prince of Wales and go to bed as King of England. The transition from heir to monarch is one of the most loaded moments in the modern world. It happens in an instant. The second Charles draws his last breath, wherever he is, whatever hour of day or night, whatever else is happening in the world, William is king. No ceremony, no coronation, no formal transfer, no vote. A king immediately, completely, without pause, and in that same instant, everything changes for Camilla, not slowly, not with the managed, carefully communicated, palace-approved transition that she has been hoping for. In the same breath, the same moment, the same irreversible instant that William rises, Camilla's world begins to fall. This is what that day looks like, hour by hour. Let me walk you through it. The moment of Charles's death, wherever it happens, whenever it comes, will be managed according to a protocol that has been in place for decades. Operation Menai Bridge, the code name for the plan that governs everything that happens in the hours following the death of King Charles III. Medical staff confirm, a physician certifies, the information moves through specific, predetermined channels to the palace. The accession council will formally confirm William is king, but that is a ceremony of confirmation, not of creation. William became king the moment his father's heart stopped. In those first minutes, before the announcement, before the press, before the flowers begin appearing outside Buckingham Palace, there is a moment of absolute stillness, in which the world does not yet know what has happened. But inside the palace, in the rooms where the people who manage this institution, at its most fundamental level exist, everything has already changed. And the first question that begins to move through those rooms is the question that Northwire has been building toward for 30 episodes. What happens to Camilla within the first hour of William becoming king? The question of Camilla's title will require an answer. Camilla is currently queen consort, the queen by virtue of her marriage to Charles. The moment Charles dies, that title dies with him. She is no longer queen, not immediately stripped in a formal ceremony, but simply no longer applicable. The title was always conditional, always dependent on Charles wearing the crown, and the crown has passed to a man who does not love her, who has spent years building the case against her, who has made it unmistakably clear in portrait and decree and ultimatum and confrontation and every quiet, deliberate, systematic move that Northwire has followed in detail, that the monarchy of his reign will not carry Camilla's legacy forward. The question of what Camilla will be called in the hours and days following Charles' death is one that will be answered by William, not by protocol, not by the palace machine, by the future king, the actual king, the man Diana built. And those close to William are consistent on what that answer will look like. She will not be Queen Mother. That title, which sounds like a natural succession, a comfortable landing for the widow of a king, carries too much. It was the title that would have belonged to Diana, the title that millions of people associate with the mother of the future king, which Diana was, and Camilla is not. William will not give it to her. The discussions, quiet, legal, already underway in the offices of those who prepare for exactly this transition, point towards something lesser, something that acknowledges her connection to Charles without giving her a permanent, significant place in the institutional story of the monarchy William is building. By hour 3 in the carefully managed, precisely sequenced protocol of royal transition, the question of residences will arise. Camilla has been living in Clarence House and in other royal residences as a function of her position as queen. That position is gone, and with it, the entitlement to those spaces. Not immediately. Nobody is going to arrive with removal vans in the first hours of a period of national mourning, but the framework for what happens next, who lives where, what access continues, and what does not, will be determined by William. Those close to him describe a clear intention. Clarence House, which has been the home of the Prince of Wales and is already associated with William and Catherine's future occupancy, will not remain Camilla's indefinitely. The timeline will be managed with the dignity that a period of mourning requires, but the direction is not in doubt. Camilla will move to something smaller, to something private, to the life of a former queen, which is still, by any objective measure, an extraordinarily comfortable life. but without the institutional weight, the official residences, the access to the machinery of royal power that comes with being the current queen, she will become historical, in the way that former holders of power always become historical, present but no longer central, acknowledged but no longer deciding, there but no longer here. By hour 6, the broader question of Camilla's institutional role will begin to take shape. Camilla has, over the years of her rehabilitation and queenship, accumulated a significant portfolio of royal patronages, charities, literary organizations, the causes she has championed, the institutional connections that give a senior royal their public purpose. These patronages do not automatically transfer or expire with the death of a king, but they are reviewed by the new monarch, by William Purcell, and those close to him are clear about the direction of that review. Some will be maintained, those that carry genuine public benefit, and can be managed without the institutional weight of a former queen's involvement. Others will be reallocated to Catherine, to William himself, to the network of royal duty that he and his Princess of Wales will define and manage, according to their own vision of what the monarchy is for. The careful, decade-long construction of Camilla's public role, the literary patronages, the charitable work, the visible, documented evidence of a woman doing something useful, with her extraordinary access to platform, will not disappear overnight, but it will diminish steadily in the managed way that William does everything, until what remains is a private life, connected to the monarchy through history, not through active, institutional, present participation. By hour 12, after the official announcement, after the first wave of public mourning, after the immediate protocol of royal transition has been managed, William will turn to the question he has been building toward for 27 years. Diana in the formal, official, irreversible restoration of everything that was taken, the HRH title, stripped in 1996, waiting, in William's private vow, to be given back. Those close to William describe a clear intention that among the first formal acts of his reign will be the posthumous restoration of Diana's full title, Her Royal Highness, Princess of Wales, not as a gesture, not as sentiment, as a formal royal decree, signed by the new king, placed in the official record, permanent, irreversible, impossible for any future monarch or institution to quietly undo. Diana, who was stripped of her title while she was still alive, in one of the most deliberately cruel institutional acts of the modern era, will be HRH again, in the first hours of William's reign, before the coronation, before the ceremonies, before the formal pageantry of a new king taking his place. This, first, his mother's name restored, in his first hours with the power to do it. By the end of the first day of William's reign, Camilla will understand the full shape of what her life has become. She will be the widow of a king, not nothing, not without dignity, not without the historical significance of having been the woman who, by any objective measure, achieved something extraordinary, rising from the most hated figure in British public life to the Queen of England. That happened, it is in the record. Nothing William does can remove it, but it is in the past tense now. Former Queen. The word former is one of the most significant words in the English language. When it attaches to a royal title, it means you were not you are. You held not you hold. You existed at the center, not any longer. The institution that Camilla spent her entire adult life trying to reach, the center of minus, has moved on. To William, to Catherine, to the version of itself that Diana always believed it could be, and Camilla, who has the title former queen, and the history and the remarkable story of her extraordinary journey, will watch it from the outside, the way Diana once watched. From the outside, the symmetry, as Northwire has noted before, is so complete it barely needs stating, but here we are stating it. The day William becomes king will be a day of mourning, for Charles, for the loss of a reign, for the particular chapter of royal history that ends when one monarch becomes another. Grief is real, even complicated grief. Even grief for someone whose choices caused damage that is still being reckoned with. William will mourn his father, in the private, complicated way of a son who loves a parent, whose decisions he has never been able to fully forgive, and in the same moment, on the same day, in the same hours, he will act, because that is who he is. That is what Diana built. The ability to feel and function simultaneously, to carry grief without being stopped by it, to know what needs to happen, and make it happen. Even when the moment is hard, the day William becomes king will be the day Diana wins. Not loudly, not with crowds and speeches, and the kind of visible, dramatic, publicly celebrated moment of justice that the story might seem to deserve, quietly, in decrees and titles, and the careful, permanent, legal language of a man who has prepared for this day since he was 15 years old, and made a vow, quietly, to himself, to her memory, that he would be ready. He is ready, and when that day comes, every piece of what Diana built in him, everything she preserved for him, every truth she left him carrying, will finally, completely, irreversibly, come home. Drop a comment when William becomes king. What is the first thing you think he should do? New video tomorrow. Same time. This is Northwire. The Crown has secrets. We uncover them every single day. See you tomorrow.